Welcome back to my channel. I'm James, and today I've got another big advanced review, and this is one that is really just one of the biggest surprise announcements of the year. And this is one of those titles that I am extremely excited about and was super excited when Turbine Media reached out to me about doing an early review on this. Now, it should be coming out in plenty of time for you to decide if this is something you want to pre-order or buy. So I'm excited to announce we're gonna deep dive into The Frighteners on 4K Ultra HD. And this is Peter Jackson's kind of like Ghostbuster-ish horror comedy thriller with a twist. I do feel like The Frighteners has such a great vibe to it, and it's always been a personal favorite film of mine. No, it's not an Academy Award winner, but it just has so many things going well and done right in it that I think Peter Jackson's look for it and the pace of the film, and I really thought Michael J. Fox was great in the film as well. And there's so many good things that happened in the film that it just really has grown in cult status over the years. Well, this is the brand new 4K restoration done by Turbine and Universal Studios. Well, huge shout out and thank you to Turbine for sending this to me 3 weeks early for review so I could do all my exclusive testing on this. I dived into this and I got a lot of interesting information to share with all of you. As always, I'm going to be doing my exclusive 4K versus the original Blu-ray release image comparisons side by sides to show you what the quality difference is on this, and if this is something worth buying and adding to your collection. And then at the end, I always wrap it up with my review score that lets you know how this compares to hundreds of other 4Ks I've exclusively tested and reviewed here on my YouTube channel. Now, if you haven't done so already, make sure to go down there and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. And don't forget to give this video a like and a thumbs up for me as well. That really helps out the YouTube channel, so make sure to go down and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification and give this video a like for me. Now to start off with here, we're going to start off with the 2011 Blu-ray release here. Now this is the original Blu-ray release that's been released basically all over the world. And this is the release I've always watched The Frighteners the most on. The DVD releases before that, I didn't watch it that many times. I think I watched it maybe once or twice on DVD. It was really the Blu-ray that got into where I watched it a whole lot more. And I've always enjoyed the film, though on Blu-ray. To give you an example, there was some issues with digital noise and blocking, and a lot of the darker scenes really had more of a grayish tone to them overall, and the skin tones were always a more grayish skin tone as well in the original Blu-ray release. But that was the best we've always had, and it was decent. It was something that I enjoyed. It was an upgrade over obviously Laserdisc and the DVD before, but it never really made the film look outstanding overall. So it desperately needed a new scan off of the original film elements and just redone overall to bring out the life that should have been present in that film on Blu-ray. Now to show you in comparison to the new 4K Ultra HD from Turbine here. Now, there is drastic improvements in the skin tones that you're probably noticing right away. And there's a lot of reasons for why it looks so different and so much better on this 4K release because of what Turbine did with Universal Studios for this exclusive 4K Ultra HD release. And if you decide after watching my review that you do want to buy or add this to your collection or pre-order this 4K Ultra HD release, I will have the only link available to pre-order from listed down in the description section and as a pinned comment in the comment section below. This is an exclusive release, so I will have that Amazon link listed down below, pinned in the comment section and in the description section below. When you click on that, it takes you straight out there. That's never at any extra cost to you, but it does help to support this YouTube channel just a little bit, and that's how I can keep creating this content. So make sure to click through those links down below if after watching this review and hearing my review score, you do decide you want to buy Frighteners. Now this Frighteners 4K release is a native 4K 2160p. Good news is it's not an upscale. And there's a lot of things that actually add to the quality of the image on this that I'm going to get to here about my testing on this. Now, this was exclusively created and restored with a brand new 4K transfer from the original 35mm camera negative. That makes a big difference. Basically, Turbine Media worked with Universal Studios and did this brand new exclusive restoration. The reason I'm saying exclusive is because it really is exclusive. For example, this new 4K restoration and transfer was licensed by Turbine Media from Universal for roughly over the next 4 years. So that gives you an idea of that this release, this restoration, and the work that's done on this is in this exclusive release only. It's going to be many, many years before somebody else goes in and starts to do the expensive work if they decide to, if there's ever going to be another restoration at that point. But talking about this release, that kind of gives you that answer. I know there's been a lot of people that have asked me about that because this is an exclusive restoration that was done exclusively by Turbine Media with Universal Studios. That's why this is an official Universal release with Turbine Media. Now, for this new 4K, it did get a brand new color grading and HDR and Dolby Vision master. And let me tell you, as you're noticing in those native images pulled from the disc, as always, just like with the Blu-ray images you see above and with the 4K images you see above, these are the native images pulled directly from the disc without all the artificial things your TV can do to kind of pump up colors or try to change contrast artificially. These are the native images present on these discs. Though keep in mind with the 4K Ultra HD, as always with YouTube's algorithm, it dumbs down Dolby Vision, HDR10, all of those down to standard HDR. So what you see for the 4K image will only look better on your home display and home 4K player, especially if you have a professionally calibrated 4K TV and 4K player. You will see the image even better than what you see on the 4K image above. Though Blu-ray, like I said, that's your standard Blu-ray image anyways, so you're going to see very similar to that anyways. But your 4K is where what you will see will only look better than what you see above. Now, with that new color grading they did, it added so much more depth to the image with also giving like better skin tones overall. Andie MacDowell, one of the actresses in this film, was very white skin tone throughout it. In the original Blu-ray, it kind of gave her more or less a deathly, like grayish skin tone. In this, yes, she still retains her lighter skin tone, but she does look healthier in this without it being in that gray area, because on the Blu-ray, it always had an odd, otherworldly, like color grading on it that never looked natural or in any way, shape, or form, like kind of pleasing to the eye. Now it's pleasing and good looking overall. Now it didn't get rid of the dark and haunting scenes. On this, with that new Dolby Vision and HDR, it does have inky blacks and brilliant whites on it. So to give you an example in those dark scenes, instead of it kind of being grayish in those areas, it's actually inky black without going into black crush. There was no black crush present on this at all. There wasn't any blocking, there wasn't any digital noise issues, and it looked absolutely phenomenal in Dolby Vision. Now the HDR presentation looked good as well, but this is one of those releases that really shined through gorgeously with the Dolby Vision. The Dolby Vision that they did on this really blew me away. The amount of detail and colors and varying shades of colors that really stood out on this really made this just look phenomenal. Now this whole restoration with the Dolby Vision and the HDR and the brand new color grading was overseen and approved by the original director, Peter Jackson. That is how huge of a deal this 4K Ultra HD release is. They worked with him in New Zealand and did the actual approval for this, going through it, working with him to make sure that this release looked the truest to Peter Jackson's vision that the Frighteners has ever looked on home video. And that's a very, very important thing to understand. And let me tell you, the Frighteners on this 4K Ultra HD release really does look like one of those knock your socks off, blow your eyes out of your sockets changes with how good this restoration was by Turbine and Universal. And I know this was something they announced about a year or two ago when I originally announced it in the top and new upcoming releases video. They've been working on this for years. That's how long and how much time they have put into this restoration. And it shows. I was really surprised, especially with the Dolby Atmos on this. Now, this does get a brand new Dolby Atmos mix, both in English for the director's cut and in English and German for the theatrical cut. And let me tell you, that Dolby Atmos mix had such a good 3D effect to it. This had a really good use of Dolby Atmos, just like what I talked about with the Halo release, the Dolby Atmos on that was near reference quality. And then you also had like Fright Night. I recently did the Fright Night review. This one used the Dolby Atmos to great 3D effect throughout the room. You could hear things like when the house is creaking, when they're going into the haunted houses and the ghosts, and you hear like wallpaper ripping off above you or the rain beating on the sides of the house. It was used throughout this film great and really enhanced Frighteners that I was amazed at how good of a job they did with the Atmos mix on this. That, no offense to the DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 or the 2.0 mix that's on these, that's also a good mix. And you do get that both in English and in German as well, those options. But man, that Dolby Atmos was where it was at. That 3D Atmos effect they did for this, because they went back to the original audio elements to create the Atmos mix for this. They actually went to the original audio elements to create a brand new Dolby Atmos mix from that, so that way it's the purest and truest sound for the Dolby Atmos mix. And man, that'll knock your socks off how good it sounded on this release. It is a near reference quality Dolby Atmos mix on this release, just like what I talked about recently with those other releases that I talked about with Halo and then obviously with Fright Night. This one stepped it up a whole new level and really made me enjoy Frighteners in a way that I never really ever thought was possible. It really surprised me with what Turbine and Universal did for this, and that Atmos mix with the Dolby Vision, it really will knock your socks off how much better and overall improved this release is over the previous 2011 Blu-ray release, especially audio-wise. Not only is the range better on it, both on the DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 and on the Dolby Atmos. I mean, Dolby Atmos was where it was at for me, but the DTS HD Master Audio 5.1, if you only have options in sound system for that, sounds drastically better than the previous Blu-ray as well. Both in clarity, you can hear things like sound effects crisper, you can hear their voice and audio so much better. Now, talking about audio lag, there is some misinformation I've heard about. As far as audio lag on this, the only thing on any of the mixes when I switch back and forth between them that exists audio delay or audio lag wise is the same thing that's always existed on the film, and that's when there's the special effects where some of the ghosts are talking and there's some sound effects. You'll notice we're talking millisecond, you have to be like literally watching their mouths like so closely, and 99% of people will never pick this up. But it's only when the ghosts are talking for a few brief milliseconds, it'll come like a millisecond later when they're talking the actual audio. But most people are never ever going to notice that. It's not throughout the entire film. There was nothing wrong with the Dolby Atmos or the 5.1. They all sounded outstanding, and I was really just shocked at that Dolby Atmos mix. And I know maybe I said that before being shocked, but it really is one of those that I sat down and that smile crept across my face, made those goosebumps come out and gave me the chills. Like some of those scenes where that Dolby Atmos was implied really gave that effect. That's why we get Dolby Atmos. And this used that Dolby Atmos 3D sound effect so well that was worth the price of admission alone in this set, which made this such a worthy upgrade for that alone. Now, this does get English and German subtitles, so all of the audio mixes and the subtitles come in German and English. You can switch back and forth between them. Nothing is burned in English subtitles or German subtitles. They're all just options on this like they should be, so there's no worry about, hey, I've got to have German subtitles options on there while I'm playing the English audio. Nope, it's just like it always is. You can choose whatever you want. Now, as far as the film grain goes on this, on the original Blu-ray release, it was never just a gorgeous looking release. On this new 4K, the film grain is very stable. It's filmic throughout it, though it's not too heavy. It is light. Now remember, the film did come out in 1996. So because they went back to the original 35mm film elements to create this new 4K scan, restoration, and transfer, They are going back and retaining what film grain existed, but in 1996, especially the 35mm film elements, they were stored very well by Universal. There wasn't any issues where the film grain was too heavy in it. It's very light but filmic throughout the entire thing. I didn't notice DNR applied at all on it, so Turbine did a great job working with Universal on that, and they did a great job retaining that, and it is so filmic looking. It blows away really the original Blu-ray release's image just overall when you're watching it and sitting there, especially if you have a Dolby Vision display. You know, I talked about recently that I just got another LG G2 OLED Gallery Edition. And I really love the contrast and clarity on that display, and it looks great with Dolby Vision on that. It really is one of those top tier, #1 highest rated 4K OLED displays you can get, and it earned that rating easily, and I can see why. When I watch it between all my different displays, I have high-end Samsung displays I test things on. When I go through all the differences between them, the Dolby Vision really did stand out. I liked the HDR presentation on this, but that Dolby Vision really was just one of those eye-opening experiences that should be a reason to get a Dolby Vision display, and at least have one of your displays be a Dolby Vision display, because man, it really looked outstanding on this. Now, if you haven't done so yet, make sure to go down there, give this video a like and a thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. If you decide you're gonna buy or add Frighteners to your collection, I will put the exclusive Amazon link down in the description section and as a pinned comment in the comment section below. That takes you straight out there to pre-order your copy. So make sure if you decide you're gonna buy this, that does help to support this YouTube channel just a little bit. Click through those links down below. Now, showing you what you get in this massive set. The Frighteners comes in this really nice artwork. Now, there is another artwork available that's a more limited, even more limited than this. Now, all of the editions of Frighteners on 4K Ultra HD are in these limited edition sets. Let me tell you this. This is the biggest limited edition 4K Ultra HD set I have ever gotten. Now, as most of you know, if you've followed me for a while, I've reviewed like Drive from Second Sight, if you haven't checked out that review. That came in a pretty big box set as well. But not as big as this one. Height-wise, and the amount of content that's in here really did surprise me. So if you've gotten that Drive set, you're looking at slightly bigger height-wise than this set, and this really did surprise me, the amount of discs in here as well. So you are getting definitely your money's worth in this that I'm going to get into here with you. You do get this artwork on it. There is another artwork available, and I'll have that posted over there so you can see the actual other artwork that's available as well. There's two different options. I'll try to have them both posted as links in the description section below, so depending on which artwork you want, they'll be listed down there. But remember, these are limited edition sets. Once they do sell out, just like Arrow Video's releases have always been in the past, Turbine Media does the same thing. Heck, Turbine Media's worked with Arrow Video before on other releases, but this is an exclusive Turbine release of Frighteners, so keep that in mind. Side here, remember I said how thick this sucker is? I mean, if you really look at this thing. I mean, it's huge. Universal Studios logo, says the Frighteners, Turbine Media, Blu-ray and 4K Ultra HD. And then getting to the back here, it does have the original Gazette from the town when it's talking about what went on, kind of the story behind it. It shows that picture on the back of the case. Now, you do get a J card that's normally on the back of that, and it has obviously a picture of Michael J. Fox and Andy McDowell on it. Then on the bottom here, it has some words in German. Then on the back, it talks about a bunch of your special features on it. Now, it is a 6-disc Ultimate Edition limited edition set, and they will come numbered, saying limited edition here with the number of which one you get. Each of the artworks has a certain amount limited to them that they come with, and your number will be listed there. Now, I will touch on the special features here for just a minute. It does contain a brand new 95-minute documentary, kind of behind the scenes interview with cast members and crew. And literally it's 95 minutes, going back and forth, talking with them about things of the film, making the film, talking about things that people didn't know about the film. It's a very, very entertaining and well done behind the scenes kind of documentary that's brand new and exclusive to this 4K Ultra HD release. Now, talking about all the other special features in this set really is, when it says Ultimate Edition, let me explain why that is. This includes every single special feature that I could ever locate, from all of the Laserdisc, all of the DVD, and all of the previous Blu-ray releases combined into this Ultimate Edition of the Frighteners. So literally, even if you have it all the way back on Laserdisc, you will get all of the special features that I could possibly find are included in this 4K Ultra HD set of the Frighteners. So that is why when they said Ultimate Edition, for once, it really means Ultimate Edition. A lot of the times I've reviewed some of these over the years, even like with some Arrow video ones that have said Ultimate Editions, things like that. They've excluded maybe one special feature here or there over the years. This one truly has everything, plus new ones to dive into and explore. So really you are getting, when it says 6 discs, you understand why, the amount of content that on here. Now, there is something really unique that they did on this. They did a brand new open matte version. So the actual aspect ratio, the original aspect ratio that Peter Jackson filmed and released it in was 2.35 to 1. That is what the director's cut and the theatrical cut that is on 4K Ultra HD is included in this release. So both of those are on separate 4K Ultra HD discs. They did not overcompress those at all, which I'll get to that here, a little bit more data on that testing data here in just a minute. But as far as that goes, those are on separate discs. You get director's cut on one, then the theatrical cut on the other. Both with obviously Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos, like what I was talking about. But you also get a really special, I think it's kind of a cool little extra, is on its own separate disc, you get an open matte version. Basically, after talking with the representatives at Turbine, they worked with Peter Jackson to do an open matte version that allows more of the screen above and below without showing anything that wasn't intended technically to be in there. Like there's no like camera booms that you see hanging down or mics hanging down. But it's an open matte version that's available on the Blu-ray disc, on its own disc. And that's of the director's cut, and it's in 1.78 to 1. So you basically technically get 3 cuts of the film because you have the director's cut the way that it was intended in 2.35 to 1. Then for a little extra bonus, you get the director's cut, but in an open matte version, which shows a little bit more above and below of what the characters were seeing. Now, I personally prefer the 2.35 to 1 just because it's a more focused picture. And that's what you're seeing in those image presentations above. That's the original 2.35 to 1, obviously from the 4K and then from the Blu-ray. That's the basically image and cut I prefer. But the open matte version is a really cool thing to have as a cinephile. I love having that extra option that they threw that in on its own Blu-ray disc. So if you want to go and experience it and see what that's like, you get that option on this, obviously with English subtitles, German, and German subtitles. But I did like that as an extra bonus as well on its own disc. Now, when you get inside this box here, I'm just going to show you what it looks like when you open it up. This is what you'll see when you open it up. It is a really thick, sturdy cardboard box that then houses all of your special content that comes in this limited edition, Ultimate Edition set. And I'm going to show you each and every item that comes in this here real quick. First, you get Frank Bannister's business card, psychic investigator with his phone number, just like what he's handing out Michael J. Fox's character, Frank Bannister, in the beginning of the film. You see these. It was kind of like a nice little touch. They gave you one of his business cards. Then you get these really nice postcards in here. I really liked them. They're very thick, sturdy, and glossy. And you get each of these postcards that are in this set, which I did think was a nice little addition. And they're just different artworks of different things from the film and things like that. And I always love getting these little like extras that they throw in, especially taking the extra time to make these such a cool limited edition set. I really thought the artwork on these was cool. And then on the back, they all have the same. It says The Frighteners with Universal Studios official logo on it, because again, this is an official Universal licensed release. Next up, we get a poster. It says Dead Yet when you pull it up. And this is one of the original theatrical one sheets. And it's basically the same cover art as what you got that was listed on the front of the box. And then you get a second poster. This is one of the other Frighteners posters that's in it. So I really did like that they gave us both posters in it. Then you get to the massive book. And this is one of those glossy, just gorgeous books. And when I say massive, it's almost a ½ an inch thick, literally. And that is how nice this is. Universal's logo says The Frighteners, Peter Jackson. Has a bunch of English listed on the back here. And when you get through this, I'm not going to have the time to go through every single page. When you get it, you will be blown away. But I am talking literally hundreds of pages showing artwork, behind the scenes. And I will say, as far as it goes, it was an enjoyable read, though I will tell you, The majority of the writing inside the book is in German. So what I had to do is on my phone, I've talked about this before, you have to use like an app or go online and it takes pictures on your phone and then you can read, it'll translate it for you. So you just hold it over and it'll translate as you're going so you can read through it. And it's not that big of a deal for me. I've gotten used to that with a lot of these releases from international countries because there's a lot of these absolutely outstanding 4K releases coming out in other countries that are exclusive releases just like this one that I didn't want to miss out on. So I have gotten used to that and I've reviewed dozens of releases from Germany and France and all over the world. This is another one of those that in the book itself, there is some English, but the majority of it is in German. Pictures though are gorgeous. It goes through like different things about the restoration. I mean, I'm literally telling you the stuff from Peter Jackson that he wrote and they added to this really was just an enjoyable read. And this was one of my favorite books I've ever gotten in a release. Now, I've talked about Arrow Video before. I really think Arrow Video has done a great job becoming one of those boutique labels with their limited edition sets. Well, I will say as far as a book goes, if this would have been in English, this is the best book I've ever read. Now, obviously translating it isn't that big of a deal. I thought the amount of pictures they put in this, because it's glossy, I mean literally pages are glossy artwork, and they did such a good job compiling all the information. It talks about kind of things that Peter Jackson had from Lord of the Rings that he took from this, that he learned from when he was making this film and carried over, and just the history behind the film itself and the thoughts behind it, why they wrote certain things about the characters in it. Really, just one of those books that is absolutely an outstanding addition for us film collectors or cinephiles. It is one of those that I definitely recommend reading through if you get this set, because this makes the set so worthwhile, adding this to your collection. And like I said, because the majority of the writing inside it's in German, it's not the worst thing ever. That's the only thing in this set that basically has a lot of German in it. The rest of it is pretty easy to understand, especially like the menus on the 4K Ultra HD. Literally, you have your play, then you have Einstellungen, which is actually your option for audio. And once you click on Einstellungen for audio, then you just select, do you want English audio? And it's all in English there. It says English or Deutsch German. And it says, do you want Atmos? Do you want DTS HD 5.1? And you play the movie. And each disc, one says director's cut, the other one says theatrical cut, which I'll show you here in a second. But as far as the book goes, just a great book. Now, getting to the discs here, you do get the other poster artwork on the inside case here for your disc, and this is a separate hard box case for your discs as well. So these are inside this hard box case. So literally, they didn't cut costs, which is what really surprised me, because I said this is kind of a one-up on limited edition sets. They really spent the time to give collectors something awesome to collect, because man, this box I really liked. It says the Frighteners, Universal, Turbine, 4K Ultra HD Blu Ray on the side. And then there's the back of your artwork on this as well with some of the little ghosts in it, which I thought was really cool. So I do like that. Now you do have in here, it'll slide out your actual disc inside this case as well. Now getting to your inside case, I thought this artwork was my favorite of all of the artworks on this box set. I really liked each character kind of getting their own character card on this. On the side there, it's black. I thought Michael J. Fox's picture was really cool. Overall, I thought it kind of gave that Ghostbusters, Indiana Jones-ish vibe with the way they made him look in this picture. Really love the artwork from Michael J. Fox there. Really harkens back to that feeling, seeing his young face and things like that from like Back to the Future. I always loved Michael J. Fox as an actor. Man, just brings back such a good warm feeling, but I love that artwork. And then when you get inside here, you get all of your discs here. And when I said 6 discs, I meant 6 discs. They are in here, each housed nicely. None of them were loose or broken. Because of how nicely these are stored inside multiple of those hard case boxes. You get the hard case box that goes around this, then the big hard case box that goes around all the rest of the set with this inside it. You're really getting something that's completely protected. I mean, I was amazed at how nice this came. But you get your Blu-ray disc up here of the director's cut, Blu-ray disc of the theatrical cut, and then this is your open frame, basically Blu-ray cut, which is the basically kind of new version that they worked with. Not the original aspect ratio, but the open frame one I explained earlier on. Special features Blu-rays right here. This is your theatrical cut 4K Ultra HD disc. And then obviously it says director's cut for your 4K Ultra HD disc there. So the 4K 2 discs are on the front, Blu-rays are behind. Very easy to get in and out. They pop in and out, clip back and in securely, so you don't have to worry about them falling out. But I loved how each one had individual artworks on them. They did not use the same artwork on any of the discs. You can easily see what each disc is. It says director's cut on this one. This one does say in German the theatrical cut, but the director's cut's easy to understand. So if it's the director's cut, the other one's your theatrical cut. And no issues with the discs, no scratches, no playback issues. And I will touch on that not a single one of the discs in here was overcompressed, because each one has one cut of the film with all the special features being put for primarily on the Blu-ray disc, so you don't have to worry about them overcompressing or shoving too much data on each of them. They each had nice menus on them with special artwork and obviously images playing in the background from the film with music, so I did like the menus they used for them as well. Now I did some additional testing that I'm going to share with you on the 4K Ultra HD discs in this set. Now, for both the theatrical and the director's cut, the rough average bitrate was an extremely high and healthy average bitrate of right around 85 megabits per second. Wow. It was great. It had just such stable and gorgeous picture throughout it. Without massive dips. It didn't have any dips really in that average bitrate that went down to like the 50s, the 60s. It hovered right around that 85 most of the time, and it was just a great viewing experience. The audio was a great listening experience, and that's where I'm going to get to my review score. For the Frighteners on 4K Ultra HD in this Ultimate Edition released by Turbine and Universal, this gets a phenomenal 9.6. This is a must buy. You cannot miss out on this release. Now, as I referenced earlier and I'll touch on again, this is not one of those releases that I'm worried about because I talked directly with Turbine when they were sending this to me. I had that discussion with them asking them, you know, is this something that then there's going to be another release in a year or so? This restoration that you see here with this Dolby Vision and this Dolby Atmos, this good of a job is exclusive for roughly over 4 years to Turbine Media. So that means if you want to watch Frighteners in the best visual and audio presentation that it has ever been released on home video in, with all the special features released on Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray, combined into the ultimate release of the Frighteners, you must buy this set. 9.6 is a phenomenal review score. This release is one that you will add to your collection, watch year after year, and enjoy. That Dolby Atmos, you will be surprised at how much they use that 3D effect so well. Because they went back to those original film and audio elements to create this brand new restoration, it shines through that they worked so hard on this release over the last several years. I was so pleasantly surprised when I went through all of my testing watching this. You know, I talk about that my wife, she sits down and watches these films with me. And she'd never seen Frighteners before originally anyways, but she was blown away by the audio and visual quality as well. She sits down a lot of the times when I do all these testing and go side by side, and she'll come in and see when I'm working on them, and then we'll go out and watch it on 2 different displays and things like that. And we'll go side by side and she'll see the drastic difference, and she was blown away at the quality of this. She really said, man, this looks just hands down gorgeous compared to the old 2011 Blu-ray. You will see the same thing as you've noticed in those images above, but only more so on your home display. Especially, like I said, if you have a professionally calibrated or high-end 4K display or 4K player. Those make a drastic difference as well. This is the Ultimate Edition of Frighteners, and I don't think it's going to be beat. That is how good this looks. There isn't anything I could say other than the book being obviously in German, but you can use your phone to get it translated to something else so you can read it. But it looks absolutely phenomenal and sounds absolutely phenomenal. This is one of those near reference quality releases that for a film that came out in 1996, I never thought we'd really get an actual restoration like what Turbine and Universal did for this. I am really blown away and shocked that the Frighteners got this much love and care. And I feel as collectors, we really are being blessed with some great releases. This being one of those outstanding great releases. And I'm really excited. I mean, I'm really excited to see what Turbine did with this. I'm excited to see what they come out with next. I always love when studios reach out to me and say, hey, we've got something new coming out. Would you be willing to test it out and review it? And so I'm always excited to do that, though a little hesitant sometimes when it's a film I really love. Thankfully, this was one of those releases that lived up beyond my expectations and really did make it a worthwhile upgrade and addition to any cinephile or film fan's library. This is one of those you will show off to people when they come over. The box set itself is such a huge selling point and so nice. I really think they did an outstanding job with this release, and it is a phenomenal must-buy. I put that link down below in the description section as a pinned comment and in the description section right below. So depending on whichever one you want to click on, they're always listed down in the description section and as a pinned comment that takes you straight out to Amazon to buy your copy. Now, that never costs you a penny extra by clicking on those links, but that does help to support the creation of these videos. So make sure if you're going to buy Frighteners on 4K Ultra HD, click through those links I've posted down below. Man! Turbine knocked it out of the park with this. I am so happy and so surprised at how good of a job they did with this release. You will be blown away at how great the Frighteners looks compared to that previous Blu-ray. Obviously, the Blu-ray you'll never watch again. That's just a given because of how great this is. Now, if you enjoy all the hard work and time I put into every single one of these exclusive comparison reviews, make sure to join my Collectors VIP Club. That only costs you less than the price of a cup of coffee every month. So a couple of bucks, and it goes right back into the creation of these videos and helps me to be able to keep creating all of this content that all of you enjoy watching here on my YouTube channel. You can also give a super thanks to the super thanks button down below that allows you to give it like a tip basically of $1 or $2 on each video you watch. But the super thanks is the best way possible to support the creation of these videos. And I just want to say thanks to all my VIP Club members. You truly do make a world of difference in the creation of these videos, and I want to say a heartfelt thank you. Don't forget to give this video a like and a thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. Make sure to start the conversation in the comment section below. Let me know how excited you are for this release now. Let me know if you're going to be buying it and adding it to your collection now that you've seen my early and advanced review. Let me know if you're a fan of Frighteners, how excited you are because Frighteners has now gotten a great 4K restoration that was approved and overseen by the original director, Peter Jackson. As always, I hope all of you have a blessed day. I've always got something new and exciting coming out very soon.